She was sent to destroy Earth, but got captured. The night sky was quiet, calm, and full of stars. But deep in space, something was moving fast. It was not a star or a meteor. It was a ship large, black, and silent. Inside it sat Princess Zelara, the daughter of the alien king of planet Zetherin. Her eyes glowed blue, her armor shining like cold steel. She looked strong, dangerous, and angry. Her mission was simple: destroy Earth. Humans had started expanding into space. They had sent signals and machines, touching areas they were not supposed to. The Zitherans believed humans were dangerous, greedy, and wild. Zelara was sent with a small elite team to land on Earth, steady its defenses, and begin its destruction. But something went wrong. As her ship entered Earth's atmosphere, a strong storm hit. The lightning danced across the sky, the engines caught fire, alarms rang. Her team shouted in panic, "Princess, we are losing control." "I see it," Zelara yelled back, trying to manage the system. But it was too late. The ship broke apart. A loud explosion shook the sky. Burning pieces fell like fire from the heavens. The mission had failed. Before it even started. In a quiet forest on Earth, a young soldier named Jack was patrolling alone. He had heard something strange on his radio, a crashing sound, maybe a plane, or worse, another war machine. He moved carefully, holding his flashlight and gun. The trees were tall, and the smoke in the air was thick. Suddenly, he saw something metal, broken, alien, a piece of a ship. He stepped closer and saw her. A tall figure lay on the ground. Her armor was unlike anything he had seen before. Her face was beautiful, but strange, like a human, yet not. Her eyes were closed, and her chest moved slowly. She was alive, but hurt. Jack raised his gun. His hands were shaking. "What the hell is this?" he whispered. She opened her eyes. Blue light glowed in the dark. In 1 second, she jumped up and grabbed his neck, her strength far beyond human. Jack couldn't breathe. But then, she stopped. She looked into his eyes and saw no fear, no hate, only confusion. Her hand loosened. She collapsed again, too weak to fight. Jack stood over her, coughing and shocked. He could leave her. He could call the army. He could run. But he didn't. Instead, he put down his weapon, took off his jacket, and covered her. Jack took the alien girl to his hidden cabin in the woods. He had built it himself, long ago, when he needed peace after the war. No one knew about it. No one could find it. He laid her on a bed and checked her wounds. She had burns on her arm and side. He cleaned them slowly. She was cold and silent, but alive. Hours passed. When she finally opened her eyes again, she was inside a warm room, soft light, wood walls, the smell of food. She sat up fast, ready to attack, but her body didn't listen. Jack sat in a chair across the room. He didn't move. He held a small bowl of soup. "I don't know who you are," he said, "but you're not my enemy. Not right now." She stared at him like he was a strange animal. She spoke in her language, but Jack didn't understand. She pointed at herself. "Zelara," she said. Jack nodded. "I'm Jack." Days passed. Zelara didn't trust him. She didn't speak much. She didn't eat his food at first. She hated Earth smells, Earth clothes, Earth sounds. But Jack didn't stop helping. He brought her water. He made simple food. He fixed her armor piece by piece, even when she gave him nothing in return. At night, she would sit by the window and stare at the stars. Her mission was gone. Her team was gone. Her world felt far away. "Why are you doing this?" she asked one evening. Jack looked at her, surprised. It was the first full sentence she had said. "Because you needed help," he said, "and because I'm not like the monsters your people think we are." She said nothing, but something inside her started to change. She had seen humans in battle before, loud, cruel, full of fire. But Jack was quiet, kind, careful, and alone. She didn't know why, but she didn't want to leave. Not yet. Far away, the Earth military picked up a strange signal. Something had crashed. Something not human. "Find it," the commander said, "alive or dead." The hunt had begun, but in a small wooden cabin, hidden deep in the forest, an alien princess was beginning to question everything she had ever known, and a lonely human soldier was about to change the future of two worlds. "The enemy I had to save." The forest was silent, but Jack's heart wasn't. For the first time in his life, he had brought a living alien into his world, a decision even he didn't fully understand. His military training screamed at him, "This is dangerous. She's the enemy. Call it in." But his gut, it told him something else. She didn't come here to survive. She came here to destroy. And now she was broken. He couldn't explain why, but that fact made him want to protect her more. Princess Zalara sat on the edge of the small wooden bed, her back straight, her jaw locked. She was healing quickly. Her body was stronger than any human's, but her mind, that was still at war. She had failed. Her team gone, her ship burned, her mission destroyed, and worst of all, her captor was kind. Jack moved around the cabin quietly, trying not to disturb her, but she watched him, every breath, every step. She didn't trust him, and yet he hadn't hurt her, not once. Why? She finally asked. Her voice was cold but curious. Jack turned slowly, surprised she spoke again. "Why what?" he asked. "You know who I am, what I am. Why save me?" Jack took a long breath, then said the truth, "Because someone has to break the cycle." She didn't understand. What cycle? The one where everyone just kills first and asks questions later. That night, a storm hit the forest. Thunder cracked the sky in two. Lightning lit up the cabin windows like strobe lights, but inside, the world was still. Zalara stood at the door, looking out. Her homeworld had storms too, but they were darker, violent, beautiful in a deadly way. She didn't feel fear during storms, not before, but now something felt different. "Are you cold?" Jack asked from behind. Zalara didn't answer, but the way she stood, stiff, tense, told him enough. He placed a blanket on the nearby chair. "If you need it," he said softly. She didn't move, but she noticed the next morning. Jack tried to start a fire outside. His tools were old. The wood was wet, and after 30 minutes of struggling, he muttered, "Stupid matches." Zalara stepped out and watched him fail. Without a word, she lifted one hand. Her palm glowed a soft violet. In a second, flames burst to life in the fire pit, a perfect, controlled spark. Jack jumped back. "Ho," she smirked. "That was terrifying," he said, "but also very cool." It was the first time she almost smiled. As the days passed, a strange rhythm grew between them. She didn't speak much, but she listened. Jack cooked, fixed tools, cleaned the cabin, and told stories about Earth, war, music, peace. Sometimes she responded with a nod, sometimes with silence, and one night with a question. "Do humans always talk this much?" Jack laughed. "Only the lonely ones." She looked away quickly. Her face tightened, but he saw something behind her glowing eyes. Pain, loneliness, the same kind he knew too well. But peace never lasts. Somewhere deep underground, an Earth military team tracked a strange energy signature. They didn't know what it was, but it was alien and close. They were coming. Back at the cabin, Zalara had found an old Earth book, a worn copy of The Little Prince. She didn't understand every word, but she liked the drawings. They reminded her of her childhood, of home. She turned a page and whispered, "What is love?" Jack paused. He was fixing a lantern, but stopped turning the screw. "That's a big question." She waited. Jack looked at her carefully. "Love is when someone matters more than your pride, or your rules, or even your mission." Zalara looked down. Her eyes darkened. "My people think emotions are weakness. And what do you think?" "I don't know anymore." That night, she had a nightmare. She screamed in a language Jack didn't understand, glowing marks flashing across her skin. She thrashed, almost throwing the small bed across the room. Jack ran in and grabbed her shoulders, not to fight, but to steady her. "Hey, Zalara, it's okay. Wake up." Her eyes opened, wild and full of fear. Then they softened. "You stayed," she whispered. "I told you," he said, breathless. "I'm not your enemy." But someone else was. Outside the cabin, far through the trees, a small drone hovered, silent, watching, recording. It sent one signal. "Target located. Alien confirmed. Prepare strike." Back inside, Zalara was slowly lowering her guard. She sat beside Jack, both of them watching the fire flicker in the night. "Back on Zithrin," she said. "I was trained to see humans as disease, greedy, violent, hopeless." Jack nodded. "Sounds like us. But you," she looked at him carefully, "you confuse me." He smiled. "Good. Confusion is the first step to understanding." Then she asked something strange, something he didn't expect. If I wanted to learn trust, would you teach me? Jack didn't answer with words. He just nodded. But outside, the enemy was already moving. Not Zellera's people, not aliens, humans. And they weren't coming to talk. They were coming to take her, dead or alive. She tried to kill me while I fed her. The forest was quiet again, but not peaceful. Something had changed. Jack could feel it, like a cold wind brushing the back of his neck. He didn't know what was coming, but his soldier's instinct whispered a warning. They know. Someone is watching. Inside the cabin, Zellara sat near the window, staring at the stars like she always did. Her alien eyes were calm, but her mind was not. She had begun to feel something unfamiliar, something dangerous, trust, and worse. Hope's eyes scared her more than death. Earlier that evening, Jack had made a small meal, simple soup with wild herbs, barely enough for two. He placed a bowl in front of her without a word. She looked down at it like it was poison. I'm not trying to hurt you, Jack said gently. You need strength. Zellara didn't move. Her body was healing fast, but her pride wasn't. She had never depended on anyone, not even her own people. She had been a weapon since childhood, trained to destroy, not to eat soup from a human. And then something broke, a flash of memory. Her father's voice. If you ever fall into human hands, kill. Always kill. Her hands tightened. Her heart raced. Her body moved on instinct. In a blink, the soup bowl hit the floor. Hot. Liquid spilled. She grabbed Jack by the throat, lightning fast. He dropped his spoon, shocked but silent. Her glowing eyes locked with his, her hand gripped tighter. Why are you doing this? He gasped. Zellara didn't answer. Her pulse thundered in her ears. Then, do it, Jack whispered. If this is who you are, finish it. His words hit her like a storm. She blinked, her hand shook, and then she let go. Jack dropped to the floor, coughing. Zellara stepped back, staring at her own hands like they didn't belong to her. I don't know who I am anymore, she whispered. Later that night, neither of them spoke. Jack sat outside, rubbing his neck, thinking about how close he had come to death, but also how strange it felt to be alive. She had every reason to kill him, yet she did in single quotes t. Inside the cabin, Zellara sat in silence, her fists tight in her lap, her breathing uneven. She had lost control, almost killed the only being who had shown her kindness. And for the first time, she hated herself for it. The next morning, Jack woke up to a strange sound, soft metal against wood. He grabbed a tool and moved quietly toward the cabin's worktable. And there she was, Zellara, sitting at his workbench, quietly fixing the soup bowl she had broken. She had used a small energy tool from her suit, a device she never showed him before. Sparks danced at her fingertips as she slowly sealed the crack. She didn't look at him. She didn't say sorry, but Jack understood. He stepped back and left her alone. Meanwhile, far away, a strike team was moving. Earth military officers in black armor walked silently through the woods. They followed the drone's signal, weapons ready. Leader, Captain Sloan, cold, efficient, and trained to kill anything non-human. He raised a hand. Signals coming from up ahead. Heat signature. Confirmed. Prepare for breach. Back at the cabin, Jack and Zellara sat on opposite ends of the room. I'm not going to ask you to trust me, he finally said. But I need to know if you're going to try and kill me again. She didn't answer. Then, slowly, she whispered, I didn't come here to kill you. I came to kill your world. Jack nodded. He already knew. But something's different now, she continued, her voice lower. My mission is gone. My people think I'm dead, or worse, weak, and what do you think? Jack asked. I think. She hesitated. I think your kindness is a weapon I wasn't trained to fight. Jack smiled slightly. Good. That makes us even. Then came the noise, a sharp click outside the cabin, leaves shifting, the sound of boots. Jack's face turned serious. He rushed to the window. Don't move, he whispered. Zellara felt it too, a pulse of danger in the air. Jack grabbed his old rifle and looked outside. He saw shadows moving between trees. 5 soldiers. He turned to Zellara. There, here, not your people, mine. She stood up, ready to defend herself. No, Jack hissed. If you fight them, they'll kill you, and me too. Then what do we do? She asked. Jack thought fast. The basement. Hide. The cabin had a secret trapdoor beneath the floor, small, But safe, he opened it quickly. Stay quiet. Don't move until I come back. Zalara looked at him. Why are you doing this? They're your people, because I know what they'll do if they see you, and I'm not letting you die here. She stared at him, then nodded once. Then I trust you. Jack smiled. Though his heart was pounding, she disappeared into the darkness. He closed the trapdoor just as the front door exploded open. Hands up. Captain Sloan shouted. 5 armed soldiers entered the cabin, guns aimed. Jack raised his. Hands. Easy. I live here. What's going on? We're tracking alien movement. Energy spike came from this location. Jack shrugged. You think I'm hiding aliens in a wooden shack? Sloan looked around. His men scanned everything. No sign of Elara Dot, but then one soldier found the broken bowl. He picked it up. Sir, alien tech used to seal this. Sloan's eyes narrowed. Search the place. Tear it apart. Jack felt a cold sweat on his neck. He had minutes, maybe seconds. One wrong move, and both of them would die below the floor. Zalara heard every word. Her hands glowed faintly. One wrong step, and she would blast through the floor. But she remembered Jack's words, trust me. So she stayed still, heart pounding, eyes closed, ready for death upstairs. Jack took a step forward. I'm telling you, there's nothing here. Sloan, walk close to close. You're hiding something. I could see it in your eyes. Just then, a soldier's scanner beeped. Faint energy. Beneath us, Sloan turned. Time was up. The first time she cried asterisk, the moment froze. Captain Sloan stared at the wooden floor of the cabin. His scanner beeped again, sharp and steady. There's something under us, the soldier said. The energy signature is not human. Jack's heart dropped. He knew it was over. He had minutes, maybe seconds. If they opened the hatch, they'd find her, and they'd shoot first. No questions. Sloan stepped forward, raising his boot. He was about to kick the trapdoor open when Jack moved. He stepped in front of him. Wait. Sloan narrowed his eyes. Move, soldier. Jack kept his ground. You're making a mistake. What are you hiding? Jack's voice shook. She's not what you think. She's not a threat. The room went cold. Guns pointed at Jack now. Sloan growled. Jack realized what he had just revealed. Sloan stepped back, gave a signal, and the soldiers grabbed Jack, slamming him against the wall. Secure the cabin. Open the floor. Sloan ordered. Jack struggled. Please, don't hurt her. But it was too late. The trapdoor creaked open. The space beneath was empty. Everyone froze. She's gone, a soldier said. Then the lights flickered, and a voice echoed from behind. You should have listened to him. In a blink, Princess Zalara appeared at the far end of the cabin, eyes glowing, armor lighting up in arcs of blue energy. She had moved fast, faster than human sight, using the cloaking shield Jack didn't know she still had. The soldiers turned their weapons, but before they could fire, she raised one hand. A wave of energy burst from her palm, slamming all 5 men backward. Their guns flew from their hands. Walls cracked. Windows shattered. Only Jack remained standing, untouched. She had aimed around him, precise, controlled. A warning. Sloan groaned, crawling to his feet. His hand reached for a second weapon. Zalara stepped forward, her voice calm and deadly. You, fire again, and you won't get back up. The silence that followed was loud. No one moved. Minutes later, the soldiers were tied outside, unconscious but alive. Jack sat on the steps, breathing hard. Zalara stood beside him, silent. You could have killed them, he said quietly. She didn't look at him. I wanted to, but you didn't. She didn't answer, but something in her eyes softened. He looked at her again. You saved me. Zalara sat down beside him. You saved me first. Twice. There was silence for a while. The trees rustled in the wind. The moonlight hit the cabin just right, and for the first time since she arrived on Earth, she felt safe. That night, Jack built a new fire outside. Zalara sat nearby, watching the flames dance. Her mind was loud, full of echoes, orders from her father, memories of her training, the screams of her fallen team, the warnings about humans, and Jack's voice, his eyes, his calmness. He was unlike anyone she had ever known. She turned to him. Why did you stand in front of me? They could have killed you. Jack poked the fire with a stick. Because I knew you wouldn't let them. She looked away. You believed in me more than I did. Jack smiled. That's how trust works. And then, something unexpected happened. Her voice trembled. Soft, broken. I don't know who I am anymore. Jack looked up. Her face was different. No armor. No mask, just pain. I was born for war. Taught to hate your kind. I trained every day to kill. But now, her eyes filled with tears. You show me mercy, kindness, and I don't know how to live with that. A single tear fell down her cheek. She quickly wiped it away. Jack said nothing. He didn't move. He let the moment breathe. Zalara had never cried before, not once in her life. She looked embarrassed, angry at herself. I'm weak, she whispered. No, Jack said firmly. That's strength. How? Because the strongest people are the ones who learn to feel, even when it hurts. They sat together under the stars, two enemies, once trained to destroy each other, now sitting in silence, sharing something neither of them could fully explain. Jack reached into his pocket and handed her something small, a folded photo. Zalara opened it. A young boy, a woman, and Jack, smiling. Happy, my family, Jack said softly. They were killed when one of your scout ships hit our outpost. I was the only one who lived. Zalara looked at the picture, then at him. And yet, you saved me. Jack nodded, because if I let hate guide me, I'd already be dead inside. She handed the photo back carefully. I don't deserve your forgiveness. Jack smiled weakly. Maybe not, but you're earning my respect. Far away, on a ship hiding behind Earth's moon, a transmission was received. Alien Commander, we have located Princess Zelra's energy signature. She's alive, and she has chosen not to complete the mission. Another voice, colder, darker. Then she is no longer one of us. Prepare the retrieval squad. If she resists, terminate. Back on Earth, Jack and Zalara were sitting close to the fire. She had fallen quiet. He looked over and saw her eyes slowly closing. She leaned her head on the side of the cabin wall, peaceful. For the first time, he didn't disturb her, but he knew what was coming next. If Earth's soldiers knew where she was, then her people couldn't be far behind either, and this time, they might not come to rescue her. They might come to erase her. Jack looked up at the stars. He wasn't just protecting an alien anymore. He was protecting someone who didn't know how to love. Until now. Someone who had been trained to kill, but was learning to feel. Someone who had cried for the first time and didn't know why, and deep in his heart, Jack knew she was worth saving, even if the whole galaxy wanted her dead. Caught between two worlds after 3 days. That's how long the cabin had been silent since the soldiers left. Jack repaired the broken windows. Zalara sharpened her senses. They didn't talk much, but they both felt it. The calm was only temporary. Jack sat on the steps of the cabin, cleaning his rifle slowly. It wasn't loaded, not yet, but something in his bones told him, I might need it soon. Inside, Zalara stood. In front of the mirror, her armor was repaired. Her energy shield working again. The blue glow had returned to her skin, the mark of royalty, the mark of power. But when she looked at herself, all she saw was a question. Who am I now? She was Princess Zalara, the warrior trained to conquer Earth. She was the enemy of Jack. She was the last of her team, and somehow she had started to care for a human. That was a dangerous thing to feel. That night, Jack sat by the fire alone. Zalara joined him. No words at first, just silence. Then Jack spoke. Do you ever miss your world? Zalara stared into the fire. Sometimes. What was it like? She hesitated. My city floated above red oceans, sky towers made of light. Every morning, I trained in the battle arenas. By age 12, I had beaten 10 grown warriors. Jack whistled. I could barely tie my boots at 12. She almost smiled. Did your people have art, music? She nodded. Yes, but only in secret. Emotion was forbidden. Why? Because emotion leads to weakness, and weakness leads to death. Jack poked the fire, thoughtful. Then I guess I'd be dead on day one. Just then, a sound echoed in the sky, a low, deep hum, like thunder, but colder. Zalara stood instantly, her eyes narrowed. She knew that sound. Jack stood too. What is it? She turned her head to the stars. A dropship. Jack followed. Her gaze. Yours? She nodded. My people found me. Are they coming to rescue you? Zalara didn't answer. Her silence said everything. Jack's voice was low. Or are they coming to kill you? The next morning, the dropship arrived. It didn't land near the cabin. It didn't make announcements. It waited, hidden beyond the hills, scanning. watching Dot inside the ship. A familiar voice spoke through the transmission line. Princess Zelara, you have 1 hour to respond. Surrender. Return to the fleet. If you do not comply, you will be marked as a traitor and eliminated. Zelara stared at the communicator. She didn't touch it, didn't speak. Jack stepped forward. You don't have to go. I'm their princess, she whispered. Their weapon, their pride, not anymore. I left my mission. I refused orders. I protected a human. They won't forgive that. Jack placed a hand gently on her shoulder. You're not their weapon anymore. You're your own person. Now, her eyes searched his. And if I choose Earth, will your people ever accept me? Jack looked down. I don't know, but I will. That night, Zelara stood alone on the hill, watching the stars. Her mind was torn into. Go back and be safe in a prison. Stay and risk war. The stars above her were quiet. Suddenly, her communicator buzzed again. This time, it wasn't a warning. It was a voice. Her father, the king of Zithrin. Zelara, my daughter, what have you become? She stood still, hands clenched. You chose a human over your own kind. You abandoned your people, your blood, your legacy. Return, or be erased from our history. Her voice trembled. I saw things here I was never taught to see. Emotions make you weak. No, she whispered, they make me alive. Down in the cabin, Jack packed his bag. He didn't want to run, but he didn't want to die either. He had made his choice. He would stand by her, no matter what came next. Zelara returned to the cabin. She looked stronger, but quieter. They gave me one last chance, she said. Jack nodded. What are you going to do? She looked around, at the cabin, at the Earth, at him. Then she answered, not with words, but by handing Jack her energy blade. I choose you. But the world didn't wait. At dawn, the sky split open. The dropship descended, slow and silent, blocking out the sun. Zelara and Jack stood in front of the cabin, ready. The ramp opened. The tall alien guard stepped out, cold-eyed, expressionless. Between them, a tall figure walked out, silver armor, royal crest. General Vorex, Zelara's uncle, and her father's personal executioner. Zelara, he said, voice deep and cold, you are ordered to return or be taken. Zelara stepped forward, calm, unshaken. I'm not yours anymore. You were bred for obedience. I found something better. Love. Vorex laughed, eyes on Jack. With him, Jack raised his rifle. Steady. Say that again. Zelara raised a hand, stopping both men. This human, she said, showed me more strength than any warrior in your army. Vorex's smile vanished. Then you die with him. Suddenly, energy blast fired. Jack dove for cover. Zelara threw up a shield. The trees exploded around them. The final battle had begun. Two worlds clashed in the forest. Zelara fought with speed and power, her body dancing like light. Jack moved with focus and fire, every shot protecting her back. They weren't just fighting for survival. They were fighting for freedom, for choice, for each other. And when the smoke cleared, Vorex lay defeated. The dropship, disabled. The guards, gone. Zelara stood over her uncle, eyes burning. You could have ruled, he whispered. I'd rather be free. As the ship's wreckage cooled, Zelara turned to Jack. I don't know where we go from here, she said. Jack smiled. That's the fun part. She laughed for the first time, and this time, not a tear, but a spark of hope. She betrayed her own kind. Aster's smoke curled into the dawn sky. The burned dropship sat in silence, its metal frame cracked and scorched. The forest around it was blackened. The trees stood like shadows, watching. Princess Zelara walked away from the wreckage without looking back. Her shoulders were straight, but her heart was shaking. She had made her choice. She had turned her back on her people, not in weakness, but in freedom. But freedom always comes at a cost. Jack walked beside her, silent. He didn't speak, but he felt the weight of her choice. She had just attacked her own blood, stood against her own army, fought against her own world, and she had done it for him. They returned to the cabin, but it no longer felt like a hiding place. The peace was gone. The world had seen her now. Earth's satellites had picked up the dropship battle. Military radars had tracked alien movement, and high above Earth, her people were watching. Inside the Zithrin fleet, her betrayal spread like wildfire. The princess had sided with a human. She destroyed an imperial ship, She is no longer loyal to the throne. The High Council sat in silence until the king, Zelara's father, rose from his seat. His voice cut through the chamber. Zelara is dead to us now. She is to be erased. By her bloodline, the room gasped. The king continued, send the execution class. She must fall by our hand. No human must ever believe that kindness can change one of us. Back on Earth, Zelara sat alone by the broken window. Jack watched her from the kitchen, quietly boiling water. You regret it? He asked. No, she whispered. But I feel it. Jack nodded. Because you're not empty inside anymore. She looked at him. Is that what emotions do? Make every choice feel heavier? Yes, Jack replied. But they also make the right ones mean something. That night, the stars looked brighter, but deep in space, something moved fast, dark, and deadly. The execution class, silent hunters of the Zetheran Empire, built to destroy traitors, built to erase mistakes not built. For Zelara, the next day, Jack took her to an old military station, now abandoned. Concrete walls, rusted tools, half-buried comms towers. It was where he had trained, where his old unit used to hide during war. No one knows this place, Jack said. We could stay here for a while. Zelara looked around. It feels like a tomb. Jack smiled sadly. It is. Most of my squad died years ago, but you're here now. That changes the story. While Jack set up a signal jammer, Zelara stood under the cracked roof, staring at the dusty photos of Jack's old team on the wall. Young faces, smiling, all gone. She gently touched one photo, a girl with short hair and bright eyes. Who was she? Zelara asked. Jack didn't turn. Her name was Kayla. My best friend? Lover? No. Jack said, almost laughing. She was too smart for me. What happened to her? She was killed in a skirmish. Friendly fire. Zelara's eyes darkened. Your own people. Jack nodded. War turns everyone into monsters eventually. She looked at him carefully. Do you believe I'll become one? Jack stepped forward. You were made to be one, but you chose something else. She looked down. Then why do I still feel so full of rage? Jack's voice dropped. Because the part of you that loved them still hates what you had to do. That night, she dreamed again, but it wasn't a nightmare. She saw her mother, a woman she barely remembered, singing in secret, holding her hand, whispering a lullaby, and then fire, screams, armor, a sword. Training. The dream shattered. She woke up gasping, and Jack was already there, holding her hand. She didn't pull away. At sunrise, the Earth military found the wreckage of the alien dropship. News spread across every agency. Video footage leaked, a glowing alien woman, moving faster than light, fighting off armored soldiers. The world had seen her now, and most were terrified. On a secure channel, Earth's leaders debated, is she a threat or a chance for peace? What if she's a spy? We must capture her, study her, control her. And in the shadows of those meetings, one voice whispered, what if she's in love with a human? The room fell silent. Back at the outpost, Jack and Zelara were eating quietly. She looked up. If I surrender to your people, will they let you live? Jack frowned. What do you mean? They won't trust me. But maybe if I go peacefully, they'll spare you. Jack dropped his spoon. No. Jack, no. Zelara, you don't sacrifice yourself for me. But I already did, she said. He stared at her. She wasn't joking. He stood up, pacing. I'm not going to lose you. Not after all of this. Then what do we do? She whispered. Where do we run? Jack turned. We don't run. We fight. And that was when the ground shook. The air split. A deep hum echoed from the sky. They ran outside. A long, sharp shadow passed over the outpost. Not a drop-dash ship. An execution cruiser. Black as space. Silent. Death itself. A voice spoke through the wind. Calm, mechanical, emotionless. Zelara of Zetheran. You are declared unworthy. Prepare for deletion. Dozens of black armored figures dropped from the ship. Not soldiers, machines, cyborg assassins. Part organic, part program. No emotion, no fear. Zelara stepped forward. I'll hold them, she said. Jack grabbed her arm. No, we fight together. She turned to him. If they get past me, they'll wipe this planet clean. That's what they're built for. You have to survive. I'm not letting you die, and I'm not letting you die for me. He looked into her eyes. You already changed one world, he said. Now let's save another. The battle began. Explosions lit the sky. Metal clashed with alien energy. Jack moved like lightning. Defending every side of her, Zalara fought like a queen of war, fierce, sharp, untouchable. One by one, the machines fell, but more kept coming. She was slowing, and Jack was bleeding. Then, a final drone dropped, larger, faster, smarter. It moved past her and shot toward Jack. Zalara screamed, diving between them. She took the blast. Her body crashed to the ground. Smoke, silence. Jack ran to her. She was breathing. A weak. The drone aimed again. Jack fired. One shot, straight through its core. The machine dropped, and everything went quiet. Jack held her head in his lap. You came back, she whispered. I never left. A tear slipped down her cheek again. I betrayed my kind, she said. Jack smiled. No, you freed yourself. I was sent to destroy. Why, he taught me to feel asterisk. Smoke rose from the battlefield. The forest was broken. The outpost was destroyed. The air smelled of burning metal and alien blood. But the figure still stood among the ashes. Jack, the soldier with nothing left to lose. Zalara, the alien princess who had refused her destiny. She had survived the final blast. Barely. Her armor was cracked, her skin bruised, her energy fading. But her eyes were burning with something her creators never expected her to feel. Love. Jack held her tightly beneath the broken tower. He had bandaged her wounds with strips of his shirt. His hands were shaking, but his voice stayed strong. You're going to be okay. Zalara coughed weakly. You're a terrible liar. He smiled. You're a terrible assassin. She chuckled. Just once. That pain took over again. He held her tighter. Don't close your eyes. I'm just tired. I know, but don't give up. She looked into his eyes. I never planned to live this long. Jack's voice cracked, and I never planned to care this much. High above Earth, the Zithran capital ship moved into position. It was no longer hiding. It was preparing for a message, not just to Zalara, but to all of Earth. The king of Zithran, her father, stood in silence inside the command chamber. His face was hard, his heart colder than stone. She has defied us. She has chosen emotion over duty. A general spoke. She should be erased by your hand. No, the king said. She must see what she gave up, and then she will die knowing she failed. He gave the order. Prepare the planetary weapon. Target her signal. Wipe the outpost from orbit. Back on the ground, Jack picked up a strange beeping sound from the broken executioner drone. He frowned. They locked onto us. Zalara looked up. They're going to erase the whole area. That's what my father does. Jack tightened his grip on his weapon. Then let's give him something he'll never forget. Zalara stood up, slowly, painfully. Her power was fading fast, but her will was stronger than ever. I have one last thing, she said, pulling the glowing disc from her armor. It's a trans core. It links directly to the capital ship's throne channel. I was meant to use it to report victory. Jack blinked. Can we use it to talk to him? Yes. Jack hesitated. Then let's send him a message. Inside the throne room of the Zithran ship, the trans core activated. A glowing blue image of Zalara and Jack appeared before the council. The king stepped forward. You dare speak to me again? Zalara looked weak, but stood tall. I don't want to fight anymore, she said. You already made your choice. He spat. You picked a human, a dying planet, a race of liars and fools. Jack stepped beside her. She didn't choose a race. She chose a future. You corrupted her, the king roared. She was the heart of our army. Now she's a ghost. Zelara's voice rose. No, I was never yours. You trained me to kill, but he taught me how to live. The king's eyes narrowed. You love him? Zalara didn't blink. Yes. The room fell silent. Even across galaxies, everyone heard the truth in her voice. I was sent to destroy, she said, but he taught me to feel. The king's hand hovered over the weapon command. If I cannot control you, then no one will. Jack stepped forward. You can end this, or you can become the thing your daughter feared. The king froze. Something, a flicker, passed through his cold, ancient eyes. A memory, perhaps a shadow of the man he used to be before he turned his child into a soldier. For a brief second, his hand trembled, but he pushed it away. No, he said, let the weapon fire, on Earth. Jack and Zalara stood close together. They're going to destroy this whole place. Jack said, then we have to leave, she whispered. There's no time. Not unless. He looked at her glowing armor. Can you still power your emergency jump drive? Zalara checked her wrist console. Only one jump left. One location. Jack's eyes darkened. Then use it. Now, what about you? He smiled. Weak but brave. I'll distract them. No, she said firmly. I'm not leaving you. He placed the core in her hand. Zalara, you gave up everything for me. Now let me give something back. Her eyes filled with tears. Jack stepped back, raised his rifle, and ran toward the burning field where the enemy's last drone still sent out signals. He fired wildly into the sky. Hey, you want your war hero? Come get me. The sky turned red. The weapon fired. Zalara screamed. She activated the jump drive dot in a flash of blue light. She was gone. Seconds later, a blinding beam hit the earth where Jack had stood. The outpost vanished. Trees turned to dust. Silence returned dot, and in the Zithran throne room, the king turned away. It is done. But at WAS and single quotes T. 6 weeks later, somewhere deep in Earth's underground network, a resistance group was watching strange transmissions. From the North Pole, a signal repeated itself again and again, encrypted, alien-coded. One voice. Over and over. She's not your weapon. She's not your mistake. She's the future. They traced the source. It was an alien. It was human. Jack. In the skies above. On a hidden moon base once abandoned by Earth, Zalara sat in silence. Her armor was gone. She wore human clothes now. Her hands were bare. Her mind was full. She had survived, but she didn't feel alive until she heard the signal. The moment she decoded it, her knees hit the floor. It was his voice. He had lived. He had outsmarted death. He had fooled the king, triggered a cloaking beacon, and escaped during the chaos. And now he was calling her back. 2 days later, in the mountains of a neutral zone between earth and sky, they saw each other again. No words. No speeches. Just two souls who had risked everything, standing face to face again. He walked to her. She ran to him. And when she touched him, she whispered, "You died for me." He smiled. "No, I live for you." The world would never be the same. She was no longer a weapon. He was no longer just a soldier. They were something new, something neither side had a name for. They were peace. And far beyond the stars, the king sat alone, his army broken, his legacy questioned. He watched old recordings of his daughter laughing. For the first time, a single tear rolled down his cold, alien cheek. He had won every war, except this one.